everyone! Today we will learn about one of popular strategy that's name is group work. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Ayu Anggreni. Okay, without any further ado, let me start our material. Do you know what the definition of group work? Yes, you are right. As you can see in my PowerPoint, the first one we will learn about the definition of group work. Group work is a learning strategy that involves students by several groups that may be a large or small group that's contained by 4 until 5 students that working together to solve their problem. And in the group work, the student will work together and achieve their learning goals. This is about the definition of group work. As you can see in my PowerPoint, the next one is we will learn about the characteristic of group work. As we know, the characteristic of group work contained by 3 parts. The first one is organization of structure. The second one is individual contribution. The last one is team process. Let's start with the first one, organization structure. Organization structure must contains with a clear purpose. Clear purpose is when the student understand what the meaning, what the purpose of what you learn. For example, you learn to group work, so the student must to understand the group work function. We will continue by the second one. The second one is individual contribution. In individual contribution, it is contained by 5 parts. The first one is self-knowledge, the second one is thirst, the third one is commitment, and the fourth one is flexibility. In this 4 part, the student should to have all of this part in applying group work. Self-knowledge is like basic knowledge that every student must to have. Thirst is when the student thirst with their self can work together with their friend. And commitment and also flexibility. The last one is team process. Team process is when the working together is happen. It just mean when the process of learning strategies of group work happen in that strategies. Learning process contained by several parts. The first one is coordination, collaboration, and communication. So, in this part, all the members must to have communication and collaboration with their members, so they can achieve their learning process or learning goals and can solve the problem by group working. Before we go far from the next material, let me ask, do all of you understand what the definition and characteristic of group work? If all of you already know, let's move to next material. Okay, I think all of you already understand what I explained before. Let's continue our next material. The third is the reason why the teacher should to apply group work in the classroom. Do you know why the teacher should to apply the group work? Okay, because all of you quiet, I think I need to explain more specific and more detail about why the teacher need to apply the group work strategy. As we know, all the teacher need to understand strategy in apply in the classroom. In learning we have much of strategy. Is it like this discussion strategy, group work, problem-based learning, and much other. So let me discuss why the teacher need to apply the group work as their strategy in the classroom. As you can see in my PowerPoint, there are much of advantage of applying a group work in in the classroom. One, it can motivate the student. It means when the student have a group work that's contain about slow learners and fast learners, so the fast learners will to help the slow learners when the learning and teaching process. So all of the group member will work together and help each other. The second one is the student will learn to accept the differences. It means if other member have a different opinion with you, so you must to learn to accept their opinion. Third one is by working together, the student in group will have much of information and resource that will increasing their knowledge. So in the working together, all of the member will share their opinion, share their comment, so other member can learn and accept it effectively. The fourth one is by working in group, the student will remembering each other. Is it for example, if one people forget the material, so other friend can remembering the material, so they can achieve the learning purpose. Besides that, what I have explained before, there are still disadvantages that occur in the classroom by applying the group work strategies. I will explain one by one. Okay, the first one is when the teacher applying the group work as the strategies in learning, maybe the student work together in their group, work in one place, but only one student that make that assessment. It really often to happen in this learning and teaching process. Other member only accept and agree with the statement, with the assessment without see furthermore, and this is not effective by the group work itself. So the teacher should to monitoring all of the each group, all of the student to have their contribution in group work. The second one is by applying the group work, there is the disadvantage, like the student in group have a different opinion, so they cannot support each other. Is it like the first one? So it purpose of learning will not achieve effectively. Okay, the last one is by applying the group work, I think the teacher need to give student more time than the individualist assessment, because they need to solve their problem from other opinion, other side in each member. So they need to more time to solve the problem. And I think the teacher usually give hard question for group work because they can do it together with their friend. Understand what I have explained before? If any question, you can ask me by raise your hand. Okay, I think all of you understand what I have explained. Okay, we will continue our next material. There is how the teacher imply the group work in the classroom. Okay, by applying group work in the classroom, as the teacher, you need to understand 4 steps in the group work. The first one is planning, the second one is action, the third one is monitoring, and the last one is assessment. Okay, I will explain one by one. The first one is planning. As a teacher, you must to have planning. You must to have a plan to your student. What will they do in the classroom? What will you teach, and what will they get from that learning? That's planning this is contained by in the syllabus. And after you have a plan, you can do an action. In this action, you as a teacher can divide your student into a several group that might be contained by 4 until 5 students in one group, and you can do 3 parts to divide the student into several groups. The first one is you can divide it by randomly assigned, instructor assigned, and the last one is self-selected. Okay, the first one I will explain about randomly assigned. In randomly assigned, the teacher can random to divide the student by maybe like tell your student to numbering themselves one by one, and if they have the same number with their friend, it will be their group. Next one is instructor assess. In instructor assess, you as a teacher should to know all of your student characteristic. You should to know their basic knowledge, their characteristic, and other. You should to divide they by several groups that's contained by girls, boys, slow learners, fast learners, and different characteristic other. Okay, the third one is self-selected. In self-selected, the student feel free to choose their friend to join their group. But I think is it not effective way to apply their strategies, because in fact, as we know, as a slow learners or fast learners, they will only get the friend that same characteristic with they. For example, if me as a slow learners, I actually get the friend who slow learners, but is it not the effective way to get the group? As a teacher, you should to know what the strategies to divide your student into several groups is effective in the classroom. If I can suggest, I can suggest you for use the first and the second one part. That's name is randomly and instructor assigned, because as I said before, if you use the third one, that name is self-selected, the student only choose their friend that have same the characteristic with they, without have a various differences. Okay, as you can see in the PowerPoint, the third one is monitoring. As a teacher, you should to monitor your student in learning and teaching process, because they need to monitor by the teacher and make sure all of the student understand the material. One is assessment. In assessment, you as a teacher can evaluate your student by give rubric to know the result of the learning and teaching process. If you give your student assessment that must to contain in syllabus, and is it accurate and detailed information? Okay, this is the last material we will learn today. I will to give you the example of design or mini lesson to applying group work in the classroom. As you can see in my PowerPoint, this is contain 2 parts. The first one is learning, the second one is games. Okay, in here, as I said before, I provide 2 mini lessons, that is I call learning and games. The first one is learning. In learning, I provide type of text. You as a teacher should to divide your student into several groups that's contained by 4 until 5 students. The strategies that need you apply is instructor assessment. because that instructor, you as a teacher know all the characteristic and ability from your student. So you can make one of group that's contained by slow learners, fast learners, boy, girl, and other differences. So that group have a different personality, different characteristics, so they can so they can solve the problem in different perspective. Then after all the group finish and all the students get their group, the leader of the group will take the lottery to get their material. The material such as narrative text, recount text, and other. So the teacher makes sure all the group have the material. Then as a teacher, you should make sure all the student, all the group get the different material each group. So they can learn various things, various material in every presentation. To make the group work effective, the way is, as a teacher, you must to make sure all the member in each group get their assessment, get their tasks. Is it like one person make the PowerPoint, one person make the paper, and other. And the last, when the presentation time, the presenter should to deliver material well. So all of the student will understand what the material. And after finish, the teacher should to give a feedback or question for the presenter and all of member. In this mini lesson or in this design, it can increase collaboration, it can increase the communication each other, because they can work together and communication with each other to solve their problem. So all the member in group working together to achieve the learning purpose. Okay, the last one is games. In games, I will provide a random picture like this, several picture that random. So I will divide student into several groups, and I will ask them to arrange that picture to be a good or clear story. And after they finish by their group work, so I will ask them to go to in front of class and one by one to give their opinion about the picture. And I will ask one by one to make sure all the member in group use their collaboration and communication in group. So in that group, there is no member of group that only agree and only accept the answer. Okay, I think enough for today, because I think we already learned much of things. If you feel not clear about what I explained before, or feel don't understand, you can raise your hand to ask me a question. Okay, I think because nobody raised their hand to ask a question, I can end the class today. Thank you for your attention, and I do apologize if I do a mistake.